8 o'clock on your Saturday, and we kick off this hour with the weather as we take a live look through iCam over Hartford this morning. You can see we're still dealing with those clouds right now and a couple of rain showers Mike has been tracking for us, but expecting to see the sun a little bit later on today. Good morning, and thank you for being with us. I'm Kim Lucey. Send things over to meteorologist Mike Cameron for a check on that forecast. Hey there, Mike.
Kim, you doing okay?
I'm doing well. You know, I think everybody just wants to know about the forecast today because there are so many events going on.
I mean, it's just, the stack of them is just amazing. I think there's one event for every person in Connecticut.
And every town for sure.
5 million people. So
it's great to see everybody planning everything and getting out and doing stuff.
And overall, the weather should cooperate. So plenty of time, plenty of opportunity to do these things. So it's really good. The only thing is there are some showers around this morning, Kim.
Right.
We're going to be taking a look at that with our early warning pinpoint Doppler, and you'll see that these showers. We'll take a look at tomorrow, Kim. I think of the 2 days, it's a little bit better. I'll show you why next.
Yeah, I heard you call it the golden goose once.
I did.
That is definitely setting it up. Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
And now to a 3 Cares event this morning. Bushnell Park will transform into a sea of pink for the Susan G. Komen of Connecticut's annual Race for the Cure. It's the organization's largest fundraising effort, and we are told there is already quite the crowd out there for us this morning. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Sujatha Jan joins us live from the park with the details. Good morning. A vigil was held last night in East Haven to remember the 2 children found dead in their home there. 8-year-old Darren Moore and 6-year-old Alicia were found dead earlier this week. A community came together for a candlelight vigil to support their father, Michael Moore, who says the outpouring of kindness means the world to him.
It's a great blessing because it's actually restored my faith in humanity that there are people out there that are willing to help whenever the next man is down.
Great to see them supporting him. Police are not yet saying how the children died, only that it was suspicious. Their mother was also found alive inside the home where the gas was found to have been left on. 2 parents in the northeast corner are under arrest. Police determined it was a sippy cup filled with a lethal dose of a popular sleeping aid that killed an 8-month-old Brooklyn girl this past winter. According to court documents, 32-year-old Kevin Hartshorn Jr. and 28-year-old Justine Barber regularly gave the child Benadryl to put her to sleep. The night the baby died, police say the father, Hartshorn, drank 15 beers before putting the children to bed.
Being irresponsible like that to give your child something that's not directed by a doctor is not a good idea.
They thought it was an accident, and everybody was feeling really bad for the parents.
Both suspects are on medical and suicide watch. The couple's other children are in the care of DCF. Now to the very latest on campaign 2016. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton was in our state yesterday for fundraisers in Greenwich and New Haven. The fundraiser in New Haven was held at the home of 2 law professors at Yale, Clinton's alma mater. A ticket to the event wasn't cheap. Those in attendance paid $2,700 to get a chance to sit down with a presidential hopeful. Fans of folk music will fill a field in Glastonbury for the first ever Connecticut Farm and Folk Festival today. 11 of the 12 bands set to perform are from Connecticut. The festival runs from 10 until 6. You can find it on the grounds of the Glastonbury Elks Lodge. That is on Woodland Street. Still to come, American Pharoah may take home more than just a prize at today's Belmont Stakes. See what else the champion horse could win. And more trouble for former Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert as an investigation is underway for sexual misconduct. Who is speaking out? Next. It may be one for the history books if American Pharoah gallops into the winner's circle at the Belmont Stakes today. If he wins, he'll become the first Triple Crown winner since 1978. Well, now all he has to do is beat out 7 other competitors. Channel 3's Wendy Gillette has the details on this potentially record-making race. President Barack Obama will give one of many eulogies today at the funeral of Beau Biden. The vice president's son died a week ago of brain cancer. His siblings are also among those scheduled to speak at the Mass in Wilmington, Delaware later today. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert is now being linked to as many as 3 potential victims of sexual misconduct. The FBI discovered Hastert was sending millions of dollars to a person to cover his actions. All 3 incidents date back to Hastert's days as a teacher and wrestling coach at an Illinois high school. Hastert indictment prompted a Montana woman to tell ABC Hastert molested her brother in high school.
I asked him, Stevie, when was your first same-sex experience? I mean, he just looked at me and said, it was with Dennis Hastert.
Hastert will be arraigned Tuesday in Chicago federal court. He has not been charged with sexual abuse. In the wake of the massive cybersecurity attack on the federal government, the FBI is stepping up recruitment. Federal officials say the data breach is similar to earlier attacks on healthcare companies. All of the hacks appear to be aimed at personnel records. To battle future security attacks, the FBI will be hiring 700 new cybercrime agents every year. But they say finding candidates is hard.
I'm competing with Fortune 500 companies that can pay twice what I can pay or 3 times what I can pay on the federal pay scale. And I lose those candidates to the private sector and some other government agencies every day.
The FBI has 13,000 agents, and within a few years, they'd like 4,000 of them to specialize in cybercrime. A woman is in the hospital this morning with life-threatening injuries after being hit with a broken bat at Fenway Park. The fan was hit in the face when a large part of the split bat went into the stands. You can see them attending to her there. She was then carried off the field in a stretcher. This was all during the second inning. Residents in Colorado are recovering after tornadoes and hail tore through neighborhoods Thursday night. In a Denver neighborhood, people were forced to dig out of more than a foot of marble-sized hail. It looks like snow left cars trapped. Many homes were damaged or destroyed.
Could have been in the house. My grandkids could have been in the house, but we weren't, so that's got to be grateful for that.
Fortunately, no one died, nobody was injured. Weather experts say Colorado could be the target for more severe weather throughout the weekend. We have a consumer alert for Mazda owners this morning. The car company is recalling the 2003 to 2008 Mazda 6 and Mazda Speed 6, along with the 2004 to 2008 RX-8. This is all for faulty Takata airbags. Other recalled models include the 2004 to 2006 B-Series pickup truck. Of course, almost 34 million vehicles have been recalled for the airbags that can explode with too much force. Pepsi will be launching a new line of natural craft sodas. The company hopes the line, called Stubborn Soda, will appeal to consumers who want healthier options. Stubborn Soda will be made with real sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. Flavors will include agave vanilla cream and orange hibiscus. Sounds yummy, but the soda will only be available at restaurants. Still to come, what could make a delay at the airport just a little less boring? How about a sing-off between the casts of 2 musicals? Yeah, I'd take that. We'll see their epic musical duel. That's coming up a little bit later in Trending Now. There's a new wake-up call before we donate to a charity. 4 phony cancer charities have been shut down for diverting funds away from the people the money was supposed to help. So that got us talking, and Howard Schwartz joins us from the Connecticut BBB to tell us what happened and how, of course, we can avoid dealing with some questionable charities as well. So eye-opening seeing this happening, Howard, because you want to be trusting when you're donating money that is going to the right place.
Absolutely, and what these folks are said to have done include bilking donors out of $127 million between 2008 and 2012.
That's insane.
It is, but if we listen to the names of these charities, why would they have raised red flags for people? So we have the Cancer Fund of America, the Breast Cancer Society, the Children's Cancer Fund of America, and Cancer Support Services. Seems like it fits the bill.
Yeah, sounds legitimate.
It does, but the federal, state's attorney general, other regulators all say that the 4 charities were run by the same family. And the government action, the FTC, says that they actually lied when the charities said they provided direct support for cancer patients, including women and children. We're talking about things like transportation to the hospital and medicine.
So if they weren't using the money for what they were supposed to be using it for, do we know where the money went then? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of money. According to the Federal Trade Commission report, in all, only 3% went to help cancer patients.
Oh, my goodness.
A staggering 97% of donations went to pay for private fundraisers or the charities, administrators, families, and friends. And listen to this. The lavish expenses this money was used for included vehicles, jet ski outings, gym memberships, luxury cruises, concerts, and professional sporting events. And the list goes on and on. As a result, 2 of these charities have shuttered their doors. 2 others are digging in their heels. So really, an important question now, are there any assets left and how might they be distributed to the donors?
So still some work to be done to figure out if something's going to be going on there. And as far as finding the people, the donors here, were they doing this in the usual way or was it a little bit unique? How was that situation happening?
Well, what was unique about this was that the folks at the charities were actually targeting potential donors not only by telephone calls on the web, but also direct mail, which is something we don't talk about quite often.
Yeah.
And it reflects sort of a more focused approach towards getting potential donors. So in many cases now, charities will hire a professional fundraiser, and they're entitled to a percentage of donations. But in this case, authorities charge these professional fundraisers often received 85% of every donation.
Oh my goodness.
And by any measure, that's just wrong.
I mean, we've talked about how wrong all of this is, but there has to be a way that we can avoid our money going to the wrong place. And because we do want to give and give generously, but you want to make sure it's going to the right spot.
This is one of the most generous countries in the world, but we do have some tips for you. For example, select the charity yourself, and that means rather than responding to a solicitation, find a charity that you trust. Watch out for lookalike names. None of these charities had names, as we said, that would raise red flags.
Right.
And that's one of the problems for consumers. This is an ongoing problem. Visit bbb.give.org. This is the charity arm of the Better Business Bureau, where you can actually check a charity to see if it meets our 20 standards of charity accountability. Check to see that the money goes to the intended source. Find out what their administration costs are. Don't rush into making a decision. This means when there is an event, whether natural or man-made, be especially careful and remember that criminals follow the headlines and move quickly to set up fake websites and social media sites to collect your money. Make your choice carefully and do your research, and I think we'll be hearing more about this story and we'll be keeping you up to date on that.
Yeah, you know, after I had heard about it, I immediately went online and checked the places where I had given donations to make sure that they all checked out and was relieved to see that, but I think it's a wake-up call to do that beforehand now.
It hasn't. I've been surprised at some of the reports I've read because they didn't meet the charity responsibilities.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Howard. Very eye-opening, and we appreciate your tips and how to
My
not
pleasure.
get bilked on that. Well, we'll send things over to Mike now. We're coming to the close of Mental Health Awareness Month, but advocates say that does not mean we should stop talking about these very serious issues. So joining us this morning, we have the former commissioner of the Department of Mental Health, now working with Hartford Healthcare, Pat Reamer. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
We were talking a little bit, first of all, about kind of where our state stands in regards to this. What are our statistics?
Well, I mean, our statistics are very similar to the national statistics. About 1 in 4 or 5 individuals will experience some sort of mental health substance abuse disorder over the course of their lifetime. So that's about a quarter of the individuals that live in Connecticut or live in the country. It's not unusual for somebody to know someone, have a family member, or have experienced a behavioral health issue in their lifetime.
You know, and I think a lot of times people don't realize how many people this affects because a lot of times people don't talk about it.
Correct, correct. One of, I think, the biggest issues that we continue to have in behavioral health is that usually people who experience these disorders are reluctant to talk about it because of the amount of discrimination they experience. And it is discrimination. People are often not allowed access to housing or jobs. People are often frightened of people who say they have mental health disorders. And so it's a real problem in terms of seeking access to care if you're concerned about what your medical record's going to say.
And I know we've been saying that talking about it and making sure that there is this awareness of it and the awareness of the discrimination too, it really helps with that situation. But what more needs to be done here?
Well, I think that talking about it, the conversation, I am so hopeful that this conversation has continued. I think we need to do a lot of education. For example, there's a lot of mental health first aid training going on in the last 2 years throughout a lot of communities that really just teaches everyone, the postmen, the clerk at a store, neighbors, what to look for, what the signs and symptoms might be, how to approach someone if they feel like they're having some difficulties, so that people are just more aware of what this looks like and what they can do to help.
Really the community effort.
Absolutely.
Getting everybody
Yes.
involved.
Yes.
We do want to touch upon the opioid epidemic because you said this is so connected to the issue too.
Yes, the opioid epidemic in Connecticut continues. We've made some progress in terms of education and people talking about it more, primarily because it's hit so many families in so many parts of the state. So it's really quite
non-discriminatory. It seems like everywhere there's problems with heroin and painkillers.
Absolutely. What we're seeing is a huge increase in actually white women, in middle-aged white women who are getting hooked on opioid painkillers. And then the other demographic is the 18 to 26-year-olds who may start with prescription painkillers that they found in somebody's medicine, but then quickly turn to heroin because it is less expensive.
We hear about that all the time.
Right.
Really quickly, do you think the new initiatives passed, the Narcan, will that be a step in the right direction?
I think Narcan saves lives. Having access to it throughout the state, having the state police carry it, having municipal police carry it, having very clear laws about the fact that families and friends can have it and that there's no consequences if it's administered by somebody who is a lay person is really significantly important.
At the very least, it has our legislators, our lawmakers, and everybody talking about the problem, so
That's
it's
right.
accomplished that.
Absolutely.
Pat, thank you for joining us this
Thank
morning.
you.
Very informative. We
Thanks.
appreciate it.
But a local fisherman will be taking him way back out.
Okay.
I'm sure
into the
those guys
water.
know exactly where to take
Yeah,
him. I'll
thank
make
you.
sure he doesn't
Just-
fall off
yeah.
the table. Don't worry.
Don't worry, your freedom is coming soon.
Yeah, you don't need to escape right now. We do want to talk about your specialty, what you guys are known for, and why do you think so many people nominated you guys?
I'm thrilled. I
found out, so she's
I
really
didn't know.
smart.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. We have great lobsters. We have wonderful lobster rolls.